thank you, brothers and sisters, for those of you who have called in, and also to those of you who are listening in on the internet side. For those of you who have called or listening in over the internet, if you would like to join the conversation, simply call 646-716-5682. That's 646-716-5682. And that's the way you can join us in our conversation. We're going to move right now into our question and answer period. So for those of you who are on the call-in side, if you have a question or a comment, we would ask that you push 1 on your phone, push the number 1 on your phone, and we'll see your number highlighted, and we'll open up your line for a question or a comment. Again, if anyone on the call-in side has a question for either myself, Brother Hakima, simply push 1 on your phone, and we'll see your phone number highlighted, and we'll open up your line for a question and or comment. And so, again, for those of you listening in on the internet side, you want to call in and pose your question or comment, dial 646-716-5682. That's 646-716-5682. We do have someone with a question. Baba Hakima, we're going to go ahead and open up your line at this time, 6093. 6093. Your line is open for your question. State your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yes, thank you. This is Nanana calling from Denver, Colorado.
Greetings.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The question that I have is probably for Baba Hakima. Reason being, you had mentioned 3 items at the beginning of the call that were kind of foundational for UsLiftingUs, and I was wondering if you could give a little more detail around them. The first one was financial literacy, and then I think large-scale group or cooperatively owned business enterprises, and I don't remember the other one. Could you review those again and give a little more detail around them?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Nanana, and welcome back. I'll ask the question, are you really back from, 5 or 6 weeks on the continent? I know it's going to take you a little time to debrief or to get back in the spirit of things. But what I wanted to stress is that there's a vibrant movement among our people in the U.S. and around the world discussing economic empowerment. And there, in our minds, there are kind of 3 areas, broad areas. And the first one, of course, is financial literacy. And we're stressing that all of us, business owners, heads of families, individuals, need to learn all that we can in terms of better utilization of the resources that we already have. So that's number 1. Number 2 is business development and the support of our businesses. The Buy Black campaigns, there are any number of platforms. I'm informed that there's one network of brothers and sisters that are concerned about black empowerment, that they have a online network of close to 400,000 participants. So the movement is big in terms of supporting black business, going into business, entrepreneurship, black business ownership, and the support of those businesses. That would be the second area. And the third area is where ULU is, the lane that we're in terms of stressing the necessity of also building group-owned, large-scale cooperatives that aggregate the resources of thousands, tens of thousands, and eventually millions of us all organized in one cooperative, one mutually owned enterprise. So the 3 areas would be financial literacy, economic empowerment and support of our businesses, and then the third one would be group-owned enterprises, large-scale group-owned enterprises. So those will be the three areas. And, of course, the reason from the standpoint of ULU, the reason that's our lane is because we have analyzed our struggle overall, and because the cultural dynamics that would be found among us during the time of the building of Black Wall Streets, or the cultural dynamics that would be among the Koreans, the Chinese, the Jews, and other groups, some of those cultural dynamics in us has been under attack and minimized. And so with the group-owned enterprises, we can structure in those elements that would naturally give reward for appropriate behavior. And I'm sure that in other cultures they have other things that speak to that need. So those are the three areas, and I think what Ulu is saying is that if we focus on financial literacy and entrepreneurship and business ownership and support of that alone, without also looking at this relatively new discussion in the area that Ulu is focusing on, then we really minimize our opportunities for success. I'm not sure that answered your question, but
yes, it does. That helps a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sis.
Great question, Sister Nanana. Great question. And I think that is something that we're going to reemphasize, Baba Hekima, as we continue to move forward on this particular platform, because, I initially described it as the third leg of a three-leg stool.
Yeah.
First one being, financial literacy, as you stated. The second one being economic empowerment of black businesses, and the focus of us supporting existing black businesses. And then that third leg would be large-scale cooperatively owned businesses in our community as a part of that conversation. So we have a number of people in our community that talk about financial literacy and that actually teach courses and give consultations on how to be better stewards of what we have. And then we also have those who work in the economic area of black business, teaching us how to start, own, and operate successfully black businesses. But when it comes to that third leg, large-scale economic development cooperatives or economic cooperatives, like Baba Hekima stated to me on yesterday, that's our turf. That's Ulu's turf. And we have to begin to take the lead on that particular leg of the stool and give greater emphasis and clarity to what that is and how it impacts us, not only in our local communities, but nationally and internationally as well. So thank you again, sister, for asking Baba Hekima to provide greater clarity on that.
Okay, that was very helpful for me to add to my knowledge base also, to understand some of the basic foundational pieces. Thank you. Definitely,
no problem. And Shay, Sister Shinyere Kenyama just joined us as well, and I just unmuted her line. Did you have anything to add to that, Sister Shay?
No, greetings, family. That was a very good question and a really complete answer. And I would just say, like you said, going forward, we're going to be addressing that more clearly so that everyone has a more clear understanding of why that third component is so important in relationship to all three.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Okay, we do have another caller on the line with a question. 4457. 4457, your line is open. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, good evening. This is Abby O'Doon in New York. Good evening, family.
Good evening, bro.
How is everybody?
Doing great.
Good. So I just wanted to comment on that that last third stage, the large enterprises. It seems that you've tweaked the language a little bit so that it's clearly beyond just the ULU marts into considering various kinds of large-scale enterprises. Is that correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to be clear. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, thank you for the question. Baba Hakima, he mentioned that we've gone beyond in our talking points or in our analysis of large-scale cooperatively owned businesses beyond just the Ulumart. And he's exactly right. Do you want to give greater clarity as to why we've done that?
Well, the Ulumart is still our primary business model, and to have a string of Ulumart scattered throughout the country is still what we're focusing on. Of course, we have also talked about the possibility of some smaller projects in the very, very near future. But we've always stated that the marketplace, the Ulumart, was just a stepping stone. It's just to get started. And so the Ulumarts, in a very real way, is Ulu owning the marketplace and generating income from the marketplace through rents, fees, and percentages of some of the commerce that takes place there. But as you begin to expand the Ulumarks, you almost naturally come to a position of establishing secondary cooperatives in transportation. As you grow, you're going to have to look at manufacturing, or we're going to have to look at manufacturing, and maybe even some aspects of agriculture or hospitality. So we would naturally be looking at other large-scale cooperative ventures to get involved in, but also smaller ones as well. What we've just talked about, based on the Nana's question, is just making sure that everyone that we come in contact with, to our best ability, understands that we value what's happening around education, financial education or financial literacy, and that we value our existing businesses, new businesses that will be coming online in support of those. But we also acknowledge that our expertise and our research is in the area of large-scale, cooperatively owned enterprises, and again, as DJ says, that's our lane. So it's not a shift in what we are proposing to our community. It's just, in my mind, greater clarity. And Brother DJ, I really like what you say in terms of the three-legged stool, because we know that a two-legged stool cannot stand. It topples over. And if you don't have that third leg, you don't have, you're not standing. And that's where we are from an economic empowerment standpoint with financial literacy and black business ownership and support of black businesses. Those are only two legs of a stool. We need that third leg for muscle, for providing a steering mechanism or some control over this emerging economy that we're building. As George Fraser stresses all the time, there is a lot of activity in our community, but essentially the nature of it is that all of us are doing our own thing. And what connects us, yes, is